Hi all. This is going to be just a quick health update, as there's been a few developments, and it's been a while since I actually told you how I was going with regards to my hip replacement, etc. I'm joined today by my one dog Shiloh, who is a brown husky. And the other dog is somewhere around. I think he's chewing a bone or something, so you might see him later. But anyway, so what's been happening with me? For those that might not have seen my previous videos, um, it's it's been about 11 months since I had my right hip replaced, which was done in, I think, on the 3rd of January or something like that. It was early in January anyway. Um, and what I can say is that it's, as far as I'm concerned, been a complete success. I've virtually got no pain there at all now, which beforehand I was in constant pain. The only problems that I have had in the recovery over the last 11 months is the fact that my left hip also has avascular necrosis, and that has been getting steadily worse, um, which could be because I've been putting a lot more pressure on it, or it just could be how the disease is progressing. That obviously has had an effect on the rehabilitation of the right hip. But I think it's not too bad. But I am still using two crutches, but mostly for the left hip because of the amount of pain I'm in there. The head of the bone there has started to basically break down, or as they say, collapse. So when I move my leg, I can actually feel uh, it grinding, if you like, and I can feel it clicking. So it is getting pretty bad and very hard to manoeuvre. But because of the success of the right hip, I have said to my doctors that I'm quite happy to have the hip replacement on my left hip. Um, and about 3 months ago, I was put on the waiting list for that. And I got the date last week for the operation, which is going to happen on the 21st of November. I will be going in the day before so they can just do some tests and make sure that I'm totally healthy, because this is for two reasons. The first is the last time I had a hip replacement, um, I did have some kidney problems. In fact, my kidney stopped functioning for about a day, and so I had to spend some time in ICU. And then instead of spending 3 or 4 days in hospital, I actually spent like 2 weeks. So this time they want to make sure that that doesn't happen for obvious reasons. Um, Also, I can't remember now, but I think it was about 5 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago, I did suffer a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack, which is basically a very mini mild stroke, and it's when there is a temporary close off of blood to a part of the brain, sometimes by a blood clot or just um, for other reasons that are not clear. Um, with their TIA, because it's just quick, it only lasts about, the effects only last a maximum of a day. In my case, it was about a day, um, and they can't see anything when you do a brain scan or things like that. But judging by the symptoms that were suffered and the fact that it got better quite quickly, they can say that that's probably what it is. And I have had them before. That's not related to my hip operation, though. I do have a heart condition that does occasionally uh, make that sort of thing possible. I also have been suffering from an increase in blood pressure the last like 6 or 7 months. So that could also have been a cause. I have since then visited a cardiologist, and we did a very interesting test. Essentially, it's an MRI, but they inject a dye into your blood that shows up all the vessels of the heart, and also they inject something else that speeds up the heart to see what it does when it's under stress. I mean, I have a naturally fast heartbeat anyway. Well, it's not natural, that's part of the condition I have. But so I wanted to see if there was any irregularities and there, and if there was any uh, damage to the heart. What they did find is that there is some damage to my heart in the front of my heart, which suggested I had a mild heart attack, possibly at the same time as I had the TIA. But it is very mild, and the heart is actually, I don't know if you could say remodeled itself, but it's actually fixed itself so it can cope without that bit of damaged muscle. What they were pleased to find is there's no blockages or anything like that. So, and the heart itself seems to be stable at the moment, apart from the odd bit of angina that I get. So what they've done, or are going to do, they've put me on a blood thinner called Copregol or something like that, and they're going to start me on another heart tablet, which is part of the what they call nitrates, which should help relieve the angina and also just widen the arteries and vessels so I get more blood to where it's needed. But they are quite happy to, at this stage, treat it with medication. The heart specialist was happy for me to have the operation as long as the anaesthetist and doctors are aware of my pre-existing conditions, which obviously they are. So, as far as the heart go, I've been given the go-ahead to have the operation. I also been visiting my pulmonary specialist because of my COPD. I had a small chest infection a couple of months ago, and I took some antibiotics, increased my cortisone, and I seem to recover well from that. I also saw the specialist a couple of weeks ago, and she did the various tests, lung function, that sort of thing. Obviously, I have a lower lung function than the average person because I have that disease. But again, she's quite happy that it's stable and happy for me to go and have the operation, as long as the doctors are aware of my pre-existing conditions, which they are. So basically, from all the other issues I have, I've been given the go-ahead to have the op, and I'm quite confident that this time there shouldn't be any complications. Oh, and I've also seen a urologist just to check out my kidneys, and he's happy with that. So hopefully that's fine. Now, as I said before, I had a right hip replacement, and some pictures of my X-rays will be on the screen here at some point of the hip replacement. It is amazing to think that big chunk of metal is in there, and it still amazes me to think that it's there, but it really is very good. I don't think I've got quite as much range of motion as the original joint, if you like, but considering what it was like beforehand, I didn't have any range of motion then either. So yeah, and when I've had the other hip done, hopefully I will then not be in pain in both my hips, and therefore will be able to walk, further and that sort of thing. I mean, it's a subject for another day, but I am having problems with my knees and feet, but one problem at a time. So I really am pleased with the progress I've made with the right hip. Now, a lot of you, if you're new, you might not be aware, but I also have a vascular necrosis, or AVN, in my shoulders, and I had my my one shoulder replaced, my left shoulder replaced, should I say, about 2.5 years ago. And again, like the hip, it is brilliant. It's virtually no pain. I've got a lot more movement than I had because with that shoulder I left it a lot longer and it completely seized up. The unfortunate thing is I've also got it in my right shoulder, and that's beginning to collapse as well. Though I still have some motion with it, as you can see. And I've been told obviously that needs to be replaced, but what we've decided is to replace the hip first, because you kind of need your shoulders to walk with crutches, and then maybe when that hip is healed enough that I don't need to use a crutch with my right arm, I can get that done. So that's probably an operation for next year. There are other operations that I'm also got to think about, which I will give you a brief on those before we end. But also, you will also see on the screen now a picture of my shoulder replacement that I had. Now that was done with a pyrocarbon head, which is a new type of material, and it is designed to last longer. So we'll see. I was one of the first on the NHS to actually have that type of joint put in. I'm not sure if they'll do the same for the other one. I presume they will. But anyway, from the pictures you can see, once again, it is hard to believe that when I touch my shoulder here, it's not me. It's amazing. There are also some pictures that I have, which I may or may not put on here, of the endoscope I had before they did my shoulder. It's very difficult to actually know what's going on, but before they did my shoulder, they cut a few small holes in my shoulder and put a small camera in to have a look at the joint to confirm basically how bad it was and whether it would be suitable for this new material. And obviously it was, because they put it in there. But again, it's amazing. There were tiny, maybe 1 centimetre cuts, and they can stick this camera in and see what's going on. It's amazing. They haven't done that for my hips or my other shoulder, because basically they know what's going on now, so I don't think they're going to need to do that. So yeah, I will try and give do a bit of vlogging, if you like, with regards to my hip replacement again, like I did last time. My wife Rose will bring the phone, or she's got a camera on her phone, but she will do some recording whilst I'm in hospital. So until then, that's basically all I have to say. I will elaborate though that over the next coming months I've got a number of operations that kind of need doing. I've got my shoulder, as mentioned before, but I also have unfortunately an umbilical hernia in my tummy, which is steadily getting bigger. I've been told that I really should have that fixed, so that's one which I don't know if I'll do before or after my shoulder. It depends on how bad it gets. It does cause me pain and discomfort, so we'll see. I also have to have a small operation on my prostate and areas around my bladder and stuff like that, just so I can urinate easier. Again, that's more of a discomfort. It's not a big operation, but we'll see how it goes. And then I have my shoulder. So I've got 3 more ops after this that at least at this point I have to look forward to. But you can't be on more than one waiting list at a time with the NHS. So I have to see and choose which one I want to do first. But, you know, one thing at a time. Let's get the hip done. Anyway, that's it for now. That's me signing off. I'll keep you updated with what's going on, and if anyone else has been through or going through this sort of thing, good luck to you. If there's any questions or comments, you know, leave them in the comment section, and I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. I might not be able to answer them immediately, but I'll do my best. You know, if you've got any stories about your experiences, again, share them in the comments below. And if you'd like to keep a regular update with my situation, obviously you can subscribe. But that's basically it for now. There are some nice other videos on my channel. I'm going to be doing some interesting facts video on some dinosaurs, which is something I'm interested in. And also I have, well, not me, but my wife and her friend have started up a Redbubble store with various types of designs on t-shirts and mugs and things like that. Also has our Magpie, which is the name of the company that they have set up. So if you like magpies, there's some great designs there. But there's all sorts of designs, from dinosaurs and Second World War planes to unicorns and pixies. They're all there, lots to choose from, and you can have them on just about any of the items that they have there. And they've got some very good gift items, so you can get a personalised mug for Christmas. And if there's a design particularly that you want to put on, you can obviously send it to us and we'll put it on. But anyway, take a look. Good Christmas ideas there. The link will be in the description, I should imagine. That's pretty much up to Rod, I don't know what you call it. Is it the editor or somebody? He's the guy that fiddles with this and makes it look good. So little shout out to Rod for this great video. Anyway, so that's me. I'm going to sign off until next time, which will probably be in hospital. Bye.